is going to talk about that, but the current treasurer Chase and Rich Greenlee, who's also served on the BOFC committee, have talked about the process being somewhat arbitrary and effed up. It was a quote from an official meeting. And I would like to know if either one of you would push or encourage the treasurer to make any changes, or what kinds of things would you like to see change with the funding process for student orgs?
Let's start with Michelle on this one. I think one of the things that we really needed to address, and I think we've done this as a group actually already when we revised the bylaws last month, is that we're including the flexibility to reallocate money and readdress budgetary issues midway through the year, because I think that dealing with it again in the beginning of the year and then nothing for the rest of the year is kind of out of touch with reality. I mean, things change, student orgs change, they come up with ideas which should be fostered. I mean, you should support student orgs when they come up with ideas. So I think part of, that's obviously not the whole issue, but I think part of it is giving more flexibility to the process. Now, on the converse, I was talking to one of the treasurer candidates yesterday about how a lot of, I think, the anxiety and the difficulty over the budget can be done by over-communicating. Here are the boundaries, here are the lines, here are the expectations. And I think that if we get that out early enough and there is feedback and we need to do things, I'm not going to presume to know what it's like to run a student org because I've never run a student org. But if there are student org leaders that hear about the budgeting process this coming spring when they disperse all this information, they have feedback, I want to hear about it, and I think that we should talk about it as a board and figure out what's the right thing to do. So I hope, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So as co-chair for QLaw and then sitting on the e-board for LASA, one of the things that I would really have liked to know during the budget process was the specific standards that the BOFC was using. And in the bylaws, it provides that the BOFC can decide on the rules that they will use. And so I would encourage the incoming treasurer to publish those, decide upon those, publish them as soon as possible, have a question and comment period, and then be able to revise them accordingly so that when there are requirements that are given informally to groups, that they are codified, I guess, or at least codified, written down so that people are very clear as to what specifically the BOFC is looking at and what specifically are the requirements for getting money in the first place.